Hello and welcome back to Up the Villa. Welcome to Clipboard Corner, your home of Aston Villa's pre-season content. If you are new to our channel, make sure you are subscribing. Get on the journey with us. Let's try and have a light target of 1,000. Let's get behind this episode, and most importantly, comment your thoughts on what I discuss and anything that you want to bring up in the comment section. It goes off like a fan forum every time, so your opinion does matter. So, Clipboard Corner, not gonna lie guys, a lot of people know that one of my favourite sights in football is Unai Emery with that clipboard, with the team of players huddled in a circle, Unai involved in it and offering his thoughts, coaching, stacked out clipboard that he's got in his little binder that's full of detail. I absolutely love it. And some of you might have seen the little short that I put out yesterday, but early on in the week, Villa put that the Villa players were back. And I replied to Villa saying, Unai Emery, clipboard in hand, that's what we want to see. And yesterday they tweeted me back and dropped the clipboard with Unai, and yeah, absolutely brilliant. So I feel like we've got something going here. We started Clipboard Corner last year, we've brought it back. This is the home of pre-season, so get behind it, show the channel some support, and let's get into it. So on today's show, I've picked 5 things that I want to see in pre-season. They range from different areas, they range from individual players, etc., players that we don't see, and just certain elements that I've really got my eye out on pre-season. So I'd like it if you could share what you would like to see in the comment section, and I will share what my top 5 things are to see in pre-season. And I think it's important because during pre-season we'll be watching the games and the results just are totally irrelevant. It's what we're actually seeing during the landscape of pre-season which is the most important aspect. So grab a tea, grab a coffee, let's get stuck into it. So number 1 is very, very important for me. And I've got all my notes on my clipboard, just like Mr. Unai. Right, so number 1 is game state tactical setups. And there's a lot involved in this. And I've got 5 things, but I've got actually a lot more to talk about. So there's more than 5 involved in each one. So game state tactical setups, what does that mean? What am I looking at? Now I'm looking at different areas. There's so many different areas within this that I'm looking at. So we go from attacking, defending, possession, transition to set pieces. It's all about formations, it's all about patterns, it's all about how we look in each element. So attacking, are we any different to last season? Are we moving into different areas? Are we building up our attacks? How are we looking during attacking? Defending, how is the shape of the team when we are defending? Yes, we might concede goals in pre-season, but what's that defensive structure look like? Are we going from a 2 at the back into a back 4? How's the midfield? How is the strikers? How are the attackers pressing from the front? How's the actual makeup of the team looking? In possession, are we doing anything differently? We've altered this numerous times over the last couple of seasons with Unai Emery, how we build up with our centre-backs, how we build up with our keepers. Do we go more central still? Are we going to be going out wide? Are there any changes to the way in which we are building out from the back? Last season, very vertical through the middle. Are we being a bit more expansive? How's the structure of the team actually looking? So once we are set in the opposition half, how are the 2 at the back, 3 at the back? Where are each individual player sitting? So I think it's important to see how all of that looks. Transition, one of the big things last season that we really struggled on. How are we defending those transitions? Are we learning? Are we doing anything differently? And then set pieces. I don't really want to see too many of the new Austin McPhee playbooks because I think it can give too much away. So I'd like to see us still working and being very good defending set pieces and attacking set pieces. So things that must happen within those is that we must improve certain areas. We must become better. I think each season you want to see progress. You want to see all those elements improving. Certain elements to Aston Villa are very, very good. We are very good at retaining the ball. We're very good at keeping the ball. We are very good at having possession or dominance over teams. But can we unlock that a little bit further? Can we be a little bit more flexible? Can we have a little bit more freedom? So number one is how I'm going to be watching all of the games with an eagle eye, just checking everything, making sure everything's looking good, looking solid. So that's number one for me. Now, number two is possibly very important as well. And I've put this under player watch. And under player watch, I'm going to be looking at players that I think are really good. I think maybe are potentially on the cusp. Not necessarily players like Watkins and Rodgers and the Konsa and Pau and Mings. Like, I kind of feel like I know what I'm kind of going to get with those. But as we'll find out in a second, some of them do have improvements that I would like to see as well. So within these players, I've got written down for player watch Baranchea, Redmond, Gauchi, Jimo Loba, Daniel Marlon, Garcia and Ozcan. So I'm going to just briefly touch over each of those and why I've put them in player watch. So Baranchea has had a brilliant loan spell at Valencia, and Unai Emery and Monchi I've heard from various areas that Emery wants to have another look at him before making a decision, and he holds high value. There's teams like Valencia that still want to sign him. Real Betis really want him. So he's got a lot of suitors, and he has done really well, and he has got quite a high ceiling, and he's very sought after. So I would like to have one more look at him because I was really impressed with him in pre-season last season. So I'd like to have another look at how he's developed and how he's grown as a player, and can he really stake a claim and take a shirt. I think pre-season is important for certain players. That can you put yourself in a position where you cannot be overlooked? That's something that I'm really big on in pre-season. Can you be that player that has a fantastic pre-season that cannot be overlooked? Remember Morgan Rodgers last pre-season? He was very, very good. And he went into the season and he absolutely smashed it. Don't forget, Morgan Rodgers towards the end of the season before wasn't a first teamer at Villa. We was only starting to see those little glimpses. A really good pre-season, the momentum builded. So that's what I want to see from some players in pre-season. Problem with Baranchea is central midfield for Villa is absolutely stacked. So you have got to really impress and do well if you are going to be a squad player for Aston Villa next season. But I do really like him. Next one, we've got Redmond, new signing, Zepaquino Redmond. Again, I think he's going to have a lot of minutes in pre-season because we've only got one striker, and left-hand side options, I think he can get minutes out on that left-hand side as well in pre-season, especially early on. So it's going to be really good to have a real look at him. What's his makeup? How's he looking? What's his touch like? What's his awareness like? What's his vision like? What's his technique like? What's his shooting prowess like? Is he clinical? Is he taking his chances? A lot of these things that we can really have a real good look at him at. Another youngster is Ozcan, the central defender who was out on loan from his parent club. Was he in Turkey, or was he just getting minutes in Turkey? I can't really remember. But Ozcan, another one who was getting real good minutes in Turkey. So he's been playing football. So can he get minutes and stake a claim and play? So he's another one that I'd really like to have a real in-depth look at. My next one is quite an important one, Gauchi. I'm okay with Gauchi. I think he's a good shot stopper, but there's question marks on his ball playing ability out from the back. We know that we had massive problems with Olsen early on from playing out from the back. I do feel like Olsen did improve towards the latter stages of his Villa career. So another one, Is he going to be the number 2? We need to see more. So Martinez, I imagine he's going to be coming back for pre-season as well. So Martinez will be back getting game time, but Gauci the same time. So Gauci went out on loan in January as well for some minutes. So again, another one that I really want to have a look at. The next one is probably one of the most exciting ones that I'm looking forward to seeing, and that's Jimo Aloba. And within the whole makeup of Villa's youth setup, we've got a brilliant youth setup. I went to the game against Man City when we won the Cup, and there's so much talent in there. But for me, Jimo Aloba is the one that I see potentially being able to break through into this Aston Villa first team squad. He's got a bit about him. He's got a presence. He's got that little bit of swagger, arrogance for a young player. And he's the player that when I watch the under 18s or 21s, etc., whenever I've seen him play, he's been the one that when you give him the ball, stuff happens. He can play on that left-hand side. He can play as a striker, as a number 10. He's got great shooting ability, what we saw in the FA Cup youth final when he scored his goal. His touch is good. His dribbling ability is good. And I feel like that attacking area is something where somebody could potentially break through. Central midfield, very difficult. Defence, very difficult. But that attacking area, we saw it with Kellyman. Emery was kind of liking Kellyman before he sold him. He got Europa Conference League minutes. So Jimo Aloba, if he can make a claim, he could get Europa League minutes. But we know that Emery is very clever. Emery will not just have a youth player sat on the bench. You have to be able to be getting game time, and you have to be able to develop. If game time is severely limited, what is the point in a youth player just sat on the bench being in and out of the squad? So Unai Emery has to fully trust him to be able to offer him minutes. And Jimo Aloba is one that I think potentially could be the next player to break through. 2 more. Daniel Marlon. Really want to just know where he plays. That's the big thing that I'm looking at with Marlon. And Garcia, I want Emery to trust him. Because I believe that if he trusts him, he's youthful enough to be able to grow. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how he can develop as well. So, player watch. There's a lot in there. There might be someone I've missed off, but these are the main important ones for me. Number 3 is set season objectives / mentality of season. Options and objectives. This is very clear for me that there has to be clarity within the whole team what the objective is this season. And we have to all have the same understanding of that is what we're going out and setting out to do. Whether it's to qualify Champions League through the league, whether it's to get Europa League, whether it's to win the Europa League, the objective must be set, working with clear plans and working as one. Squad unity, everybody pulling together and having a little bit more harmony, I think. I'd just like to see us look a little bit more driven together. Even if that means we have a little team huddle before a game. There's so many teams that have team huddles. And I do believe that there's something in that. We see Arsenal on an away game always drift to the away fans and have a little bit of a huddle. And we do kind of do it. They all go up to each other and give each other a hug and just talk to each other. But I just feel like sometimes maybe when we're away from home, that last little message could be quite important. And if it just gives you that little added 5% that comes from the captain, maybe that is the added little 1%er that we need. So whatever the objectives are, we go out and deliver. This is the season that Aston Villa must deliver. So short, sharp and sweet on number 3, but very important. Number 4 is just as important as all of the others, and it's individual player improvements. And this could be just over the course of the season it improves, or it could be individual players reflecting on last season, looking at things that need to improve, or Unai Emery coaching areas that need to improve. And I've got some things written down here on my trusty clipboard. And the first player, and no player is safe from this. Every player can improve. Every player can be criticised. But it's how they react and how they build and grow as a player as well. So the first player is Morgan Rogers. And what I've got written down for Morgan Rogers is ball striking when he's in those attacking areas. Now, don't get me wrong, last pre-season I mentioned this as a big thing for Rogers in front of goal. I thought he was very wasteful. And I do feel like he did improve, but I think there's another element to this that I would like to see him improve on further. So it's not so much ball striking, but it's his calm composure on the ball. Now, in front of goal, he does get a lot of opportunities where he hits the keeper or he hits it wide. So I would just like to see him become a little bit more relaxed in those moments and just be a bit calmer. I've got refine on the ball, decision making. And I think this is something that he's a little bit accustomed to, of getting on the ball, trying something, losing it in the wrong areas, dribbling in the wrong areas. And I think he needs to be more clearer of how the pitch has been mapped out. Does he need to just take a touch out his feet and lay it off instead of taking a touch, dribbling, or trying to put his body in front of a player? So I think he needs to work on his decision making on the ball and also tactical awareness of where he is on the pitch. What's the right moment to run with the ball? When's the right moment to dribble? When's the right moment to pass? The best players make the best decisions. They don't necessarily make the worldy pass from a certain area. They make the right pass with the right technique, with the right amount of pressure or sort of pace on the ball. So that's something that I'd like to see Rogers work on. The next one is Ollie Watkins, and he's actually worked on things in the past, like he's worked on his finishing, which, like, whether you think he misses too many chances or not, his finishing has got better. So that's a fact. The next one that I'd like to see him work on is his touch and his hold up, back to goal. This is a must for me, an absolute must. And it did improve from the season before, but it needs to improve again. So his hold up in and around the box when he comes deeper, it needs to be pristine. It needs to be, he wins a lot of things when he drops deeper. And I've also got that his box work needs to improve and his touch in and around the box. Little give and goes, little pop-offs here and there. We can't have another season where this is something that is really frustrating. So that's something I want to see improve. Next, we've got Pau and Maatsen, back post awareness. So we all know that when that ball goes to that back post, we're a bit weaker on that sort of left-hand side when it goes to that right-hand side, when it's attacking down that left-hand side. And I've put that drill importance over pre-season is important. I want to see us looking like we've worked on it, whether there's crosses from deep, whether it's set pieces, the awareness, checking over your shoulder, that is something that's got to improve, and it can be worked. All of this is stuff that can be worked on and can be ingrained into players. They're all good enough to be able to develop and grow as players. So drill importance, working on that, because again, I don't want to be talking next season about things like back post defending, first shots on target going in, how we're looking defensively, how we conceding on transition. This is where all of this stuff eradicates. So that's something Ramsey, I've got written down here that I would like to see his picture mapping improve. So what I mean by picture mapping is that when he receives the ball, he's already aware of where he is and what's in front of him. Because I think at times he can run down blind alleys. He can do that little shimmy dribble and then he just runs into a cul-de-sac of players. I want to see him being able to map the pitch out more so he's able to be open enough to know where he can go, where he can pass the ball and be slightly braver. We've got two more. We've got Garcia, and under Garcia I've got listen to Emery, huge chance, huge opportunity going into next season, and I believe that if he listens to Emery, listens to what Emery wants from him, then he can be a mainstay player at Aston Villa. Onana, I've got touch and movement, ball out of his feet. I think at times, sometimes he can get a little bit caught, a little bit stuck. I'd just like to see him get that ball out his feet more, and be able to either drive forward or just be comfortable when he's being tackled in possession, that his body is in front of the player and he's not getting caught on the ball. So those are the players that I actually highlighted. Another player I could probably say could be like Konsa. I just think I'd like to see him be a little bit more aggressive, just getting a little bit more stuck in and putting himself about there. And then number 5, I actually feel like this is quite a good episode, guys, not going to lie. Number 5 is new signings integrated into the starting 11 quickly. Now, we know Unai does take his time, but I think this window, when the new signings do arrive, they've got to be integrated quickly. He's got to be able to build that trust with the new players. And I think that's very, very important. It would be good if new players could get a pre-season. I think, yes, it's very slow on the transfer front at the minute. And I think, I'm going to be honest, I do think a few of that out there are getting squeaky bum time. And I think it's probably not needed at this moment in time. I think we can build into a new season with a bit more positivity from a team that finished 6th in the league last season. Yes, it's slow. I don't think a lot of teams have really made that many signings. And I think Villa are capable of dropping 3 signings in 1 week. So I'm quite relaxed about it at the minute. I mean, if we edge towards August and we've still not signed anyone, then maybe my mood will change. But I just think there's plenty of time and we've still got a very good squad as it is. And if players, a couple do leave, we bring in more quality of what this system needs, then that's fine. So I think it's about holding our nerve really, rather than having full-blown panics over Villa not making a signing yet. I just think we need to just have positive energy really, because we need to build into this season as positive as we can, attack it the best we can. So number 5 is just integrating new signings quickly, getting them playing, adapting. This is where players like John McGinn come into it and like integrating them. And we know we've got this really good liaison with players joining where we're trying to allow them to get settled in as quickly as possible. So those are my 5 things really of what I'm really going to be looking for. So Villa fans, let me know how you're feeling with the things that I've discussed. I think I've covered a lot, but you guys might have some other things that you really want to look out for, or 5 things that must really happen. So that's all from me, really. So I just want to say thank you, everyone who's been watching the content, and big up to all of your support. Hopefully you've enjoyed this show, and smash the likes, comment your thoughts. Up the Villa.